Welcome to ITIL 4 Practitioner Information Security Management Sample Paper 1 recording from One World Training. We would like to first acknowledge PeopleCert and AXELOS as we have used their logos and materials. Firstly, about One World Training. We are a global training, business simulation, and training company having our offices in the USA, the UK, the Netherlands, India, Malaysia, UAE, South Africa, and many other countries globally. We provide training in IT, business management, project management, ISO standards, GDPR, and many other subjects for individuals as well as organizations. One World Training delivers courses in 5 different ways. Public classroom-based, online from home or work, virtual that is, and then e-learning or a mix of e-learning with in-person support for instruction, combining both e-learning and in-person training that is. And then lastly, at the user's location on-site for both private and government organizations. We are authorized and endorsed by leading global professional bodies. On this slide towards the bottom, you can see logos of the courses that we offer, but also the logos of those bodies who have authorized us. We would like to tell you first about the nature of the sample exam questions, which are in line with the actual exam as well. The exam lasts for 30 minutes. It's a multiple choice exam without any negative marking. There will be 20 questions. Each question is worth exactly 1 mark. And there's only one correct answer per question always. You need to score 13 or more correctly to pass the exam. And this is a closed book exam. It's an online proctored exam. So the exams questions, the real exam questions, that is, are in line with similar style of questions here, but note that in the exam, you can have other questions as covered by the syllabus of the exam. We begin with the first question. The information security manager at an insurance company is discussing the purpose of information security management with an internal team. The manager has explained that the purpose of information security management is to protect the information the company uses by ensuring its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Which of the following is a characteristic of the purpose of the practice that is missing from the information security manager's explanation? Now, the question seems to be simple, straightforward, because it's about the purpose of the practice. And we know that every practice has a purpose explained at the beginning of the practice guide. So it should be simple, straightforward, but let's be cautious by looking at the answer options first. Option A, identifying potential security issues so the company can take appropriate action. Option B, ensuring that the company can identify people and things and can prove that transactions happen. C, ensuring that the risks to the company information are managed with appropriate security controls. Or D, reducing or eliminating risks that could affect the security of information in data. I'm going to give you a few seconds to reflect on the answer before I reveal and explain the answer. So what do you think? Now, when I look at it, I kind of think it could be B or C. Particularly when I look at C, ensuring that risks to the company's information are managed with appropriate security controls. And also B, because it ensures that company can identify people and things and can prove that transactions happened, because that reminds me of non-repudiation characteristic of information. And I remember in the purpose of the practice, there are words such as non-repudiation, confidentiality, integrity, availability, authentication, etc. So let's see which would be the best answer. So option A, identifying potential security issues, which means it could be threat assessments or vulnerability assessments. They can be useful to manage information security, but not part of the purpose of the practice. Therefore, we need to rule out A. Option B is more about the information security management manages risks to information such as risks to information security such as authentication, non-repudiation, confidentiality, availability, and integrity. And authentication actually means being able to identify people and things, and non-repudiation means being able to prove that transactions happen. So B seems to be really correct. Let's look at C as well. Implementing controls is part of risk modification, and it is acceptable to avoid, share, or retain a risk. And risk treatment options, there are several of them. And for example, reduction, etc. However, option C is focusing more on the risk treatment by using appropriate security controls. So therefore, it is not a correct answer. Option D, reducing or eliminating risks that could affect the security of information data. It's actually one of the 4 practice success factors, that is mitigating information security risks, and it is not part of the purpose. So in such questions, be careful whether the answer options are a practice success factor or an actual purpose, but written in a slightly different way, or it is something else. Therefore, B is the correct one, though at first sight, it doesn't appear to be the correct answer here. Rather, C appears likely to be the correct answer. Question number 2. Under which 2 circumstances should an organization initiate a review of security policies and plans? 1, a predefined schedule. 2, a new service. 3, a missing control. Or 4, a change in security context. So we need to recollect that a review of security policies and plans usually occurs when there is a predefined schedule or when there is a change in a security context. Therefore, the correct option would be D, which is a combination of 1 and 4. And option 2, which is a new service. In fact, a new service should conform to the existing security policies and plans, but the review would happen if it is involved in a change in the security context. And option C, which is missing controls, this can be discovered during a vulnerability scanning and that could trigger an audit. But this will not trigger a review of policies and plans unless there is a change in the security context. Therefore, the predefined schedule and the change in security context would be the correct answer. So predefined means it can be an interval-based review. Next question. Which recovery plan should the information security manager of a bank test most frequently? A plan to recover from theft of a laptop from an individual bank branch. B, a plan to recover from the failure of a redundant component in the headquarters data center, which would impact all bank branches if it lasted for more than a week. C, a plan to recover from a software failure that would result in a single bank branch operating at reduced efficiency. Or D, a plan to recover from a fire within the HQ data center, which could close all bank branches if it were to occur. So what we have to recollect here is that the greater the potential impact of an information security incident, the more often these exercises should occur. And among the 4 options, option D is the one where there is maximum impact as compared to the remaining options. Though one might think that D is not related to information security, but in fact it does. So be cautious. Don't think that any of the options are not related to information security. If you really look at them closely, all of them are related to, in some way, to information security. Question 4. There has been a security incident which has resulted in a threat actor altering some data. Which security principle has been breached? A, confidentiality. B, integrity. C, availability. Or D, non-repudiation. The data has been altered. So this should be straightforward. The correct option would be B, integrity, because it's an assurance that information is accurate and can only be modified by authorized personnel and activities. And the threat actor has modified some data who is not authorized to do so. Whereas confidentiality is about the prevention of information being disclosed or made available to unauthorized entities. Option C, availability, is about characteristic of information that ensures it can be used when needed. D, non-repudiation, is about providing undeniable proof that an alleged event happened or an alleged action was performed, and this event or action was performed by a particular entity. Question 5. An organization takes out an insurance policy that will reimburse the cost of a cyber breach. What type of risk treatment is this? A, risk avoidance, B, risk modification, C, risk sharing, or D, risk retention. One of the keywords in the question is insurance. And maybe that makes you remember what type of risk treatment that is. Nevertheless, let's look at all the options. A, avoidance, is about preventing the risk by not performing the risky activity. B, modification, is to implement controls to reduce the likelihood or impact of the risk. For threats, it's generally known as mitigation. And option C is risk sharing, wherein reducing the impact by passing some of the risk to a third party. And in this case, the insurance company is sharing the risks. Therefore, C would be correct. Option D, risk retention, is about accepting. So intentionally deciding to accept the risk because it is below an acceptable threshold or a tolerance or within the risk appetite of the organization. So risk sharing would be correct. Need to be a bit cautious here because some of you may be used to the term risk transfer rather than risk sharing. Next, question number 6. Which two inputs to the assessment and review process are most likely to be used to help identify missing controls? 1, business process information, 2, threat assessment information, 3, external standards, and 4, current means of managing risks. Note the name of the process, assessment and review process. So let's go to the practice guide and take a look at the information security assessment and review process. I'm in table 3.8 in that process in the practice guide. And if you note the second activity, identify missing controls, in this, the second statement in the first paragraph, impact of new or changed standards, regulations, and bodies of knowledge are also assessed. And then the second paragraph, the identified recommended controls are compared to the existing controls for the risks, that is, and improvements are recommended. Therefore, that should give us the correct answer. We need to pick up 2 of the 4 as per the answer options at the bottom. And therefore, we have seen in that table, it's the third and the fourth one, external standards and current means of managing risks.